Zentrix AI. The advanced AI-powered trading platform for every trader. Everything you need for trading success. Research, strategy, automation, trade signals, all in one platform. Write strategies in plain language. We build the bots. Forex, crypto, stocks, futures. Every market. Let AI do the heavy lifting. Zentrix AI. The future of trading is here. Are you ready?
What's up, people? Welcome back to another stream. Hope everyone is doing well. As always, guys, if you're enjoying the content, please be sure to drop a like, subscribe to the channel, and of course, make sure you do go and hit the bell so you don't miss out on any streams or uploads in the future. Make sure you do check out Zentrix. I'll post the Telegram channel to that for more information, updates regarding launch as well. Let me post that in the chat, so check it out. Involving a project we've been working on for the past few months, involving using AI to generate tools for us to improve our trading, whether automated trading bots, whether we're looking at strategy development, strategy refinement, improving strategies, or just creating indicators. If you have an idea, you can look to potentially build an indicator to facilitate that, and a lot more as well in the future. So do check it out if you're interested. Link to the Telegram is in the chat. But guys, welcome to another stream. As always, we'll go through the USD side of things first. Take a look at the dollar, DXY, USD majors, gold and silver. Any requests, pretty much any pair, any market you're looking at, feel free to drop in the chat. We'll discuss, see what's going through. We'll also go through my watch list, any trades I'm in, any trades I'm looking to take this week. We'll go through that as well. So any requests, put it in the chat and we'll eventually get to it. But good morning, OPAC. Welcome to the stream. Hope you're well. What's up? Let's see. Welcome to the stream. The names have just put me off here, boys. Amos, welcome to the stream. Hope you're good. Tasheba, welcome to the stream. Hope you're well. Hope everyone's doing good. As always, guys, if you're enjoying the content, please be sure to drop a like and subscribe to the channel. I do apologize because I know I'm butchering a lot of people's names, so I do really apologize for that. But hope everyone is well and hope everyone had a good weekend. Anyway, first things first is the DXY. So with the dollar, everything's looking pretty bearish right now. And we are stalling at the moment, so it looks like momentum is starting to run out a little bit. But at the moment, USD is still bearish. We're still very consistent with the lower lows and lower highs, as we can evidently see here. Of course, at the moment, market's about to is making a new low. So the expectation this week is, okay, if the market does stay bearish, I think some really nice intraday opportunities could come around. Of course, you've got a brief pause here in the market, nice drop to the downside. Still a little bit of a gap there, price can go look to fill. I would suggest keep an eye on a pullback into this 97.8 area. I think that's a smart place to be looking to short and keeping it relatively simple. I did say that for my personal kind of trading, I'm not really looking to short the dollar because the market has been falling for quite a while. We're becoming quite corrective. So I'm almost waiting to see if potentially we could reverse this or if more momentum can come into the market. If I can see a very strong drive lower, that will give me a bit more confidence that, okay, this trend is still healthy, still likely to continue for another big swing. Then I'll be interested to find some shorts to get involved myself. But from a swing perspective, now's not the best time to be looking to short the market. Intraday, however, that's a different situation because you're looking to be in and out within the day most likely. And if we can see a healthy pullback into that zone, I think that's still a very smart place for a short. Even this area here as well, a slightly bigger pullback, which may even interest me as well. I like this brief range here, strong drop to the downside. That as well could be a smart place for some downside, depending how we get there and depending how we react as well. But 97.8 and 98.6, two areas to consider. At the moment, support looks like it's doing a pretty good job at holding price. We're very, very flat right now. So difficult to gauge what price next move would be. But should it be to one of those two areas, naturally we'll have a bearish bias and naturally looking for a sell opportunity on the dollar. And of course, some buys for Euro USD, which is pretty much looking exactly like the DXY, but just the inverse of it. Clear uptrend there, clear higher highs and higher lows. But again, for the most part, we are still very, very corrective. So I'm not really liking the price action in terms of looking for a big swing for Euro USD because it's been bullish for a while. We're still very, very corrective. Not really what I want to be seeing if I'm looking for a big swing again to the upside. But again, intraday, I think is still a very good opportunity because you're not looking to hold the trade for too long. Of course, you got prior resistance here will be turned support. You've got consolidation here, which price spent a few hours in before a very nice sharp break to the upside. I think a pullback into that area would be a smart place for a buy. And again, a swing back into resistance and maybe beyond that as well. So the way I look at Euro USD, still bullish market. If we can see a healthy pullback, very nice opportunity for some longs, of course, depending how we get there, depending how we react with the level. I wouldn't just blindly buy, but if things look good, we're seeing healthy rejection. Yes, I think that could be a nice buy. Again, keeping it intraday. And then if this is the high we pull back from, naturally targets back to the high make the most sense. But again, if I'm going to look to buy Euro, I need to see some really healthy momentum push to the upside. Something like this will tell me, okay, the trend is still healthy. Euro probably does have another big swing to the upside. If I can find a good pullback, I'll be more than happy to buy it. At the moment, that's not quite the case. We're still kind of operating within this bullish channel here. So not really too interested about trading within that. But again, lower time frames, I think there's some nice opportunities there. In terms of pound USD, so kind of the same situation as Euro. Trend is still healthy, still pushing to the upside. Basically, since the start of the year, since Jan, we've been heading to the upside. We've taken up major highs to our left. We just saw another bullish leg before the end of the week, clearing highs out. So again, market still trending pretty well. We do have this brief range here as well, which I like the look of as well with this swing high. Same situation as Euro USD. I believe we could pull back into that area. So far, I like how price is pulling back as well. It's nice and slow, nice and corrective, which does imply that this move is likely to be a pullback for us to head higher. So that's a good look there for pound USD. So definitely keep an eye on this zone, 1.363. Again, if we can see some healthy rejections, maybe some nice double bottoms on the lower time frame, I think that'll be a smart buy. And then keeping it simple, no need to do anything crazy. A push back to the swing high, I think that makes the most sense there for pound. Again, we are a little bit fatigued, a little bit corrective, so I'm not necessarily expecting a humongous move to the upside for pound. I do think a bigger pullback is on the horizon for quite a lot of the USD pairs, but for now, still bullish. So again, intraday, looking for the pullbacks, buying opportunities back to highs. Dollar CAD's a bit of an awkward one. I still like the shorts. I still think we're likely to keep falling, but with the awkward wick we had at the end of last week, it just makes things a little bit because we had this huge wick, which of course successfully retested this area, which is what we were talking about last week. I said I was either looking for the retest of the high here or the intraday opportunity for the retest of this level, which essentially is holding, but it's just made things very awkward with a huge wick down the 4-hour chart. Of course, the hourly chart had a big run to the upside, but we reversed, which is what gave us the wick on the 4-hour. But it just made things a little bit awkward. I still do fancy a big sell. In terms of opportunities to enter a trade, it just is a bit awkward now. I still would prefer an entry up at the highs here so I can get a stop loss, pretty much above the highs, away from all the noise. So that would be my preferred opportunity. Again, there might be some intraday opportunities off the retest of this zone again, since it's now back below and potentially could act as resistance. I think it just doesn't look as good as it did last week. So at the moment, I'm kind of just staying away from dollar CAD unless we do get that bigger pullback into this zone. But yeah, for the most part, still very bearish for dollar CAD. Again, USD is still generally quite bearish as well. Very consistent lower highs. And to me, it looks like price has printed another one. And we're likely to return back into support, which is around 1.355. So possibly some shorts on the retest there. It looks a little bit awkward, so preferably I'll stay away. I like the opportunity a lot, but again, I'm not too sure if we get all the way up there. In terms of Aussie dollar, another awkward market. Again, still kind of operating within that ascending channel. We've been doing that for quite a while. I said I'm looking for a push to the upper end of the channel. I still am. because I think there could be some nice shorts there around 0.66. At the moment, looks like some resistance is stopping us at the moment. I did say some buys on the retest of the trend line could look good as well, because we just had a massive fake out to the downside here. So potentially the retest and the continuation. Very common pattern. After we do see the fake out, price will normally come back to retest the level it faked out, or the area it faked out before continuing. In this case, it hasn't done it, but it could still go and do that. So I think the buys still look good there. And equally, I like the sells as well at the upper end of the channel, away from all the noise, where again, potentially another lower high could form, another swing back down into the low end of the range, maybe a breakout as well. So with Aussie dollar, you can see the dotted line there we've got running through the middle of the channel. This represents, the 50% point of the channel, the median, the middle. We don't really want to be finding entries in that area, because that's where the most speculation, the most indecision will be. You want to be to the extreme, so right at the high, right at the low. That's where the most opportunity will form in patterns like these. So when price is kind of stalling in an area like this, I want to stay away, wait for price to come back into support, wait for price to come back into resistance, and then look for opportunities off the back of that. At the moment, I would stay away, but buys look good around 0.647, sells look good around 0.66, and yeah, just basically waiting for price to get to one of those areas. New Zealand dollar, not a big fan of this one, to be honest. Not seeing a whole lot of opportunity. I can see we are, again, similar to Aussie, stuck at resistance. Yeah, there's a kind of slight channel going on here, but really I'm not looking to do too much with New Zealand dollar, to be honest. There might be some downside. We might wick into the up end of the channel before a bit of a sell-off there. We are quite ascending in nature. This is becoming very corrective, so that could develop. Not really something I'm looking at. Aussie dollar is a lot more clear cut, so that's why I like that opportunity a lot more. New Zealand dollar, I can see price respecting this resistance, but it's just not an opportunity which I'll look to trade. I would suggest keep an eye around the up end of the channel, because I've got a feeling price is going to push through the high, which is probably going to take out highs above here. So if you could wait for price to push through the high, get a strong reaction, and then put a stop loss above that, that gets your stop loss above all the noise in a very safe area. And if the rejection is good, entries, and hopefully we can see a swing back down. But yeah, I would wait to see some healthy rejection before jumping into a trade around the up end of that channel. But again, not a big fan of New Zealand dollar. Gold, I think gold's quite interesting. We've had a bit of a bullish morning for gold, but I'm still pretty bearish. If you didn't catch the analysis on the weekend, which I posted for gold, well, for numerous markets, but gold included, you can go check it out. But to summarize, I was basically saying I think gold can still see more downside back to 31.50. The way price has cleared support here, this was our last swing low, which gave us our drive to the highs, giving us the higher high in this bullish sequence. So I didn't want to see last week price break through this low. If we broke through that low, that's a break of structure. Again, I'm still overall bullish for gold. I still think gold is likely to return back to 3,500, back to all-time highs. But now that we've broken through these lows and we have kept up this bearish structure, this tells me we're more likely to see a bit more downside before maybe those big buys do come along. So I did say keep an eye for the retest of this zone. And I think that's a great place to be looking to short the market, especially intraday. I probably wouldn't get short just yet. We've had a very strong rejection at the lows, and this is kind of our first drive higher. I'll look to see if we can put a second one in, or maybe even come back and retest that zone slightly higher up. But yeah, my expectation for gold is another lower high, basically just continuing the pattern as we've been seeing, and push back to lows. And then of course we've got that 31.50 area just below us. But yeah, long term still very bullish for gold, of course, but just maybe for the next week or two. Sales look good. Silver's interesting, still respecting support. Again, I did consider looking to buy from this area here last week with this candle here, which I'll probably be at break even if I did take the trade. But I was more interested with a slightly deeper pullback with silver. I like the looks of this level down here at 34.86, which of course is the big level price broke through before we had this consolidation. Price was rebounding within that level and key support around 28.7. Then recently we got the strong break to the upside, and I would be very hopeful to see if we can get a pullback to retest that level. Since we had the break, we've had no retest of the zone. So ideally, I would like to see price come back, retest that area. You can see there's a brief pause there as well, which I like to see. Price kind of moving sideways and suddenly a big burst of momentum. If price can come back to tap that, I think there's a good possibility more buyers enter the market at that zone. That could take silver to the upside for us. So keeping a very close eye around 34.8. That's the area which I'm looking to trade from. I have to admit, we are showing a lot of signs of rejection at this zone, and I think there's a possibility we do see some upside from here. But the way I see it, this is pretty much like a consolidation. We were looking at this head and shoulder pattern last week as well, which did kind of work. We just haven't broke through the neckline yet. But yeah, I'm going to hold out to see if I can get my preferred level. If we can stay nice and corrective, that would be beautiful. And then hopefully find some entries there. Somewhat of a bearish channel here. Take some longs, targets back to high, and so on and so forth. I think we can go a lot further, but for now we just target the high there at 37,290. So yeah, that's kind of where I'm at with USD. USD is still, as a whole, pretty bearish at the moment, but I'm still not convinced in terms of a big sell-off for the pair. I think intraday, if you keep looking for shorts, that's the best play. But for a big swing, I'm kind of just waiting for a bit more information before I do put that forwards. I'm not looking to buy the dollar. It's not quite ready yet for that, unless you're looking to take some really aggressive trades. But yeah, we'll see what happens as that unfolds for the week. And of course, gold and silver, still bullish on both of them, but silver looks the best for some buys. So that's kind of where I'm at. Anyway, let me say hello to some more people. What's up, Chris? Welcome to the stream. Long time no see. Hope you're well. Good to have you on the stream, though. Hope everything is good with you. Hussein, anticipation for DXY. I mean, like I said, everything is still pretty bearish for the dollar. So if you're on intraday timeframes, I think if you're just looking for dollar short opportunities, you're in favor of trend, you're in favor of momentum. I don't think it's quite ready to be bought yet. So yeah, I'll still be looking for selling opportunities on the lower timeframes. Oh, Alan, what's up? What's up? I hope you're well. When the YouTube profile changes, I have no idea. But I hope you're well. What's up, Adams? Welcome to the stream. Rexis FX, what is up? I'm doing good. Yes, I of course just went through gold. If you want me to go through a particular time frame on a pair, let me know as well. Most of the time I will be looking at the 4-hour chart, but if you want me to drop to like the 15, because of course I know some of you are like on the 15-minute chart, so if you do want me to go through a certain time frame, just let me know as well. Adams, thank you. No problem. Currently long to jump in for buys again, as there is a big pullback. Okay, I haven't actually looked at the DAX for this week yet, so I will definitely go and take a look. But good to see. Yeah, I'm pretty bullish across the board in indices, so yeah, buying the pullbacks I think is always a smart decision right now. Shorting gold, target 31.24, and long in oil. Okay, I'll go have a look at those ideas. Also buying Tesla as well. Okay. Good morning to you too. Okay, I'll have a look at some of those ideas. Behind the machine, dollar yen, we'll take a look, no problem. What's up, Dre? Hope you're well. Good morning. It's good to be here. Good to have you on the stream, my man. Hope you are good. Anyway, where was I? Okay, so I'll go take a look at the DAX. We'll go through gold, oil, Tesla, dollar, yen. Of course, any requests, just drop it in the chat. And like I said, if you do want to see a particular time frame, let me know as well. But the DAX, last time we had a look at this one, we were reacting off some support on the daily chart. Beautiful move there, actually. Last time we looked at the DAX, I think we were trading around here. Yeah, last time I looked it was last week Friday. But yeah, we've been very, very bullish, very, very bullish. We've, again, it was a bit of an awkward break and retest, but essentially I just looked at the price, respecting resistance here, turn support. We did dip below slightly. The market isn't perfect as well, but we did dip below, but we did recover, which is the important thing. And since then, the market has been looking pretty bullish. And I think at this point, there's a very high chance we just see price smash into highs and go and create some new ones. So looking for a pullback, I think, is a very, very smart decision. Especially intraday as well. I would keep an eye on this zone here. Pretty much lines up with the prior swing high in the 4-hour chart. But this, of course, is where we had a brief pause, a lot of momentum pushed up. It would be nice to see a retest of that zone. If I drop to the 15-minute chart, yeah, that would be nice. You can see our price consolidated before we ripped higher. So I probably wouldn't drop as low as the 15. I think maybe hourly is a bit more appropriate, yeah. I think hourly looks the best. Not too small, but not too big. Enough to get a refined entry, but still enough where your stop losses, not too tight, and you can give yourself a bit of room to breathe. But yeah, I like this zone a lot. I think looking for pullbacks look good. We had a very strong bearish close this morning there. So it looks to me that we could probably see a bit more momentum to the downside anyway, which should help with pullbacks. But if you can get a pullback into 23,870 at least, I would say that's a smart place for a buy. Targets back to the high if you want to keep it simple. You got the all-time highs there, not too far away if you want to try and push the trade a little bit further. But yeah, buys look good to me. We've got some very clean bullish structure in play now. Push, pullback, push, pullback, push. Looking for the next pullback for the next push. So yeah, I do like the idea there with the DAX. Looking very bullish across multiple time frames. Intraday looks good. I would say there's a good likelihood that we do push back to all-time highs. Probably wouldn't say this week. It could happen this week, but I do expect in the next few weeks that we'll be there. We might mess around for a little bit. But yeah, DAX is looking very bullish. I like the buys on that one. Okay, let's take a look at that gold short opportunity. So I'm pretty bearish on gold as well, at least on a short-term scale. I do think there's more downside to be had for gold. I'm looking at 31.50, 31.40. You're looking at 31.20, which is pretty much the low of that zone, which is pretty much the same zone we're aiming for. But I'm kind of just viewing it in a slightly larger scale, but we're similar targets. I would suggest to probably manage the trade in terms of partials and just trading stops. I wouldn't just be, one-dimensional in terms of, okay, I'm going to short here, target there, because there's a long way to go. Gold's quite volatile, and yeah, a lot can happen in that time. So managing the trade, I think, will be a smart decision. But nothing wrong with targets down there. Nothing wrong with big risk rewards. Just that you need to have a plan of how you're gonna go about it and manage that idea. But yeah, I have the same outlook really. I do think gold is likely to fall. I'm looking at a retest of this kind of range here. For some shorts, you're keeping. Okay, so 31.24. Okay, but yeah, entries in that area I think make a lot of sense. Basically looking for the next lower high and then expecting a huge drop pretty much for gold. We've gone and broken through this bullish structure, so that's made me pretty bearish now. As for oil, what's oil doing? Okay, oil's still sideways, but still holding that daily zone just about. Probably not perfectly, but I would say we're just about holding, which is what's keeping me bullish for oil. I said if we can hold the 66, 65 zone, I do think there's a pretty big swing to be had for oil. I still do believe in that. At the moment, the market is very, very sideways, which is a good sign because we had so much momentum on the way down in previous weeks here that, we need to see that momentum kind of dissipate a little bit, which we have seen. This is a very, very heavy sell-off, and now pretty much buyers and sellers are in equilibrium. So it's a good sign to tell us that, okay, all that momentum we had from the bears, not here anymore. Buyers doing their job. So if we could see momentum shift, basically give us a strong close to the upside, that would show, okay, Sellers have left, buyers stepped in, likely we're going to bounce now. So that's kind of what I would wait for in terms of an entry, but I like the location where price is trading. You're targeting 70.31, which would be around here somewhere. Yeah, I would bet on price getting there. I'd be looking at price pushing back to resistance here anyway. So it's on the way, it's on the journey. But yeah, oil still holding support, which is keeping me bullish. We need to stay above this zone. If price does break below, that'll be a bit of a red flag there for the buyers. We do not want to see that as a buyer. But yeah, I'm just waiting for a bit more convincing momentum from the buyers. A strong close. I know we had a bit of a bullish engulfing candle, but it's still very small and not really meaningful. Still within the range as well. So if you can close outside of that noise, that would be a great signal. Then yeah, I would expect a push back to your target, and more so a push back to resistance up there as well. So I definitely do like the idea of longs on oil. Okay, Tesla. It's been a while since I looked at Tesla. Okay, not too long ago. I think I looked at it 27th of May, maybe. So about a month ago. But yeah, Tesla. So the last time I looked at Tesla, I believe I had a bullish bias on Tesla. I think we just had this sharp breakout to the upside. So overall, of course, we've got that uptrend. We've become a little bit stale, but the consistent thing is that Tesla still continuing with the higher lows. We did break above resistance there. Looks like we had a lovely retest of that zone. So yeah, I would expect Tesla to keep that up. I do think price can get back to highs 400, 480. That would be my expectation there for Tesla. In terms of finding a trade, I probably would wait to see another drive lower, just so I can get some entries at support here. And it will, of course, it will help with stop losses. If I can get my stop loss underneath the lows here, make sure my stop loss is away from all the noise, gives me a bit more confidence to hang on to a long position as well. I think trying to get involved inside of here just makes things a little bit awkward, because that's where a lot of indecision, a lot of speculation lies, and you're a lot more exposed to getting faked out and seeing price move in your favor. Of course, I'm not saying here you'll be immune to that. That can still happen. Of course, it can happen anywhere, but the market's got to work a little bit harder to do that, which is a good thing, of course. But yeah, for Tesla, I'll probably wait for another drive low before looking to buy this one, but I am bullish on this one. You've got a buy limit at 289. Okay, pretty much the same idea as me then, 289. Yeah, back at support. Targeting 875. So you're looking for price to pretty much double. Okay, so that's a long investment, I suppose. Stop loss 255. It's around here somewhere. Okay, very, very big risk reward in that position there. Yeah, I mean, again, I would expect Tesla to eventually get back to highs and see new highs as well. That could take a while, but I suppose you're looking a bit more of a position trade with that one. But again, if you're going for a bit more of a position trade where you're trying to hang on for multiple months, you probably want to have a slightly wider stop loss than 255. You probably want to look at it underneath these lows, really. Of course, that will have a big difference in your risk to reward. But if you're going to hold a trade for a few months, a lot of fluctuation can happen, and your room for error is very, very small. It's like this. So any fluctuation bigger than that will likely take you out the trade. I think price is still likely to go and hit, your target of 875, but that could take a while, and it could take multiple bullish and bearish cycles as well. So I would give myself a bit more room for that stop loss for that big of a target. So yeah, that's my only kind of critique for that one. But in terms of location, I like it. I would have a stop loss underneath the lows there too, but I probably wouldn't target as big of a move there. That's my only difference. But yeah, I like the idea. I would be pretty bullish as well. We'll go through dollar yen next. What's up, Natty? Welcome to the stream. Dollar yen GJ, okay, we'll take a look. Amos, appreciate it, my man. Appreciate it. If you guys are enjoying the stream, please be sure to drop a like and subscribe to the channel. It does really help out. I do really appreciate each and every one of you liking, subscribing to the channel, leaving kind messages does really help out. I do really appreciate that. And of course, hit the bell whilst you're at it so you don't miss out on any streams or uploads in the future. But as for dollar yen, I'm pretty bearish with this one, which is interesting because some yen pairs I'm looking to slowly change my bias with them. A few yen pairs I'm pretty bullish on: euro yen, pound yen. Those two I'm particularly bullish on. We'll go through them in a moment. CAD yen, dollar yen, I'm starting to shift my bias potentially. I mean, dollar yen definitely have. CAD yen I'm looking to. Aussie yen, New Zealand yen, they're a bit awkward. Yen pairs are not kind of clear cut as they have been recently. But in terms of dollar yen, I would still be pretty bearish. The key thing I'm looking at is the successive lower highs we are still being very consistent with. You can see how price has been moving. You can see we formed a major lower high over here compared to the high we formed back over there. I'm still looking to see if we can drive back into support again. Very, very critical support here for dollar yen. Support once, twice, briefly a third time. We have had a reaction from that, but not really seen much momentum in terms of a reversal. We've had two kind of rallies. Both have just formed lower highs and not really seen much momentum afterwards. So I do think dollar yen is likely just to continue to fall back into support, and then we go from there. Maybe price breaks, maybe price respects it, it has a bigger reversal. We'll find out when we get there. But for now, I do fancy another swing lower. So the way I see dollar yen right now is still falling. In terms of an opportunity to trade that, I like this level running through the market over here. Prior resistance on the 4-hour chart. It's been a bit awkward. We've broken through the zone a few times. Once over there, twice over there, slightly over there as well. But for the most part, it has held as resistance. So I did say another drive back into the zone would be a nice place for a short. And a push back into support would be my expectation. Most importantly, this level over here has proven to be a very solid level of support. So I would suggest looking to manage the trade somehow, book partials, trade a stop, something as we get to that zone, just in case price does reverse. But then, of course, we've got that daily zone just below us, which I do expect price to get to eventually. So dollar yen, I do have somewhat of a bearish bias. I have to admit, pretty much all of this is just consolidation, really. So it's not the best conditions. It's not trending well. At least at the moment, it has been trending well, but recently we have hit a bit of a brick wall and price is a bit flat. But because we're still printing these lower highs, I remain bearish. So if you're looking to short it, waiting for price to get back to resistance, this would be my first area of interest, 146, and we see if we can get some strong rejection from there, and targets back to 142.5 and 140. So that's kind of what I'm looking at for dollar yen. Not my favorite pair, but I would still be pretty bearish with this market for now. Of course, USD being weak is probably a main driver. Yen has been weak, but just not weaker than the dollar at the moment. In terms of pound yen, so pound yen I'm actually bullish on. Yeah, I mean, in terms of market structure, in terms of what price has been doing over the past few weeks, I would be pretty bullish on this one, and I am looking for a push back to the swing high here at 199, pretty much 200 we can call it. But we had this last bearish leg to the downside, created new lows. However, we quickly reversed and just about plucked the highs. So that did give us technically a break of structure. And since then, the market has been pretty consistent with these higher highs and higher lows. We've recently broken through resistance here as well. So I do think price is likely to drive higher back into this swing high at 200. Then we'll go from there. I'm not expecting necessarily a big rejection or a breakout. I'm also just waiting to see how we get there, waiting to see how we react, and then I'll develop a bias. But for now, I do think we're likely to see a move in that direction. So as we do push down, I'll be looking for buying opportunities to find the next higher low to trade it back into resistance. So as I drop to the 4-hour chart, I like the look of resistance here, which of course kept us sideways for quite a while. Once, twice, a third time, slight fake out over there, but you can see it's proven as a very, very solid level of resistance, and hopefully that now can be acting as support for us. And I think that'll be a great place to get long from. hopefully see another higher low, continue what price has been doing previously, and of course targets back to 200, which I think gives us a pretty decent risk to reward there. Even if you're going to enter on the 4-hour chart, I think we could be looking at a decent trade. Of course, that could be a first target back to the swing high, but I would be looking at 200 there. So pound yen I'm actually pretty bullish on. I'm still seeing higher highs and higher lows. I'm still seeing momentum to the upside. It's a bit more of a corrective market. It's not like it's a healthy bullish trend that's been playing out for a while and we've been seeing some lovely bullish swings. That's not the case. It's more of a corrective market. But as long as we keep up with these higher lows, respecting support, there's a strong likelihood that we do get back to the swing high there at 200. So just waiting for a pullback for pound yen. We're looking pretty bearish this morning, so hopefully it does start to shape up over the next couple of days. But I do think we're likely to drive higher. Yeah, bullish on pound yen. I do agree. I am bullish as well. I do think higher prices are likely. Euro yen as well, which I'll take a look at because it's pretty much the same boat as pound yen. But yeah, I'm very bullish on euro yen as well. You can see this one, even better trend really with euro yen. Of course, euro has been stronger than pound. But a very, very nice rally for this one, creating new highs a couple of weeks ago now, actually. We took up the highs here a couple of weeks ago. But since we've had the big break of that level, that's really what's made me bullish with euro yen. And now the next big target would be 175 up here. So if price is going to really mean business, if this breakout is really a breakout and we're going to move to the next level, it would be all the way up there at 175. So there's a lot of upside to be had for euro yen, which means basically just keeping an eye on the pullbacks, finding the next high low. It's probably the smart move here for euro yen and just follow momentum. Very nice clean move. I had this as the bonus pair for the weekly analysis. I talked about this area for a buy and also basically this area here. Both areas that gave us clean breakouts with decisive momentum. If we can come back and retest either one of these zones, I would be interested to pick up some longs. We are becoming a little bit corrective now for euro yen, which tells me, okay, momentum is dying. Perhaps a pullback's on the cards. But yeah, just looking to see how we react at these levels. And then if things look good, expecting a swing back into the high at 169.736. And then, of course, a lot more upside. We've got 175 all the way above us over there. But again, not necessarily looking to trade that in one move. I might leave positions to run and see what they do. But I'll probably take most of my profits at the high. But yeah, euro yen looking very bullish to me. So very bullish on this one. No problem, same here. Okay, yeah, I do agree. Very, very nice momentum. Things have looked very good for euro yen recently. Just kind of waiting for a good pullback to get to the trade, but it has been a little bit stale as of late. So hoping price can kind of pick up the pace with the pullback and find some opportunities along the way. In terms of position I'm in, I'm currently in pound Aussie, which is just a little bit sideways at the moment. Price hasn't done much, to be fair. I've been short since last week. We have come back into support. Looks like price is respecting that on the lower time frames. If we can break through this, hopefully more momentum can pick up. But looks like we're still respecting it for now. Basically just shorting at resistance here, looking to see if price can respect that area for another swing lower. We had some healthy rejection last week. Hopped into the position, stops above the high. Momentum hasn't really picked up yet, but we'll see how that develops across the day, across the week. I'll manage this one closely because it is a bit more of an aggressive position. I am going against the tide. The trend is very much to the upside, but I'm looking to see if I can get in early and capitalize on potentially a bit of a counter trend move. We took out the COVID highs not too long ago. We had a very aggressive reaction from that. And I'm basically looking to see if I can catch the lower swing high for the next move. My main target is back at lows here, but I will look to see if I can hold some positions to run. Because if this does turn around, I'll be well positioned to take advantage of a new trend. So yeah, it's the idea that, okay, if I can get in early, there could be a big swing in my favor. If not, of course, I've managed risk. I'll take the stop loss if price does break higher, but I will be actively managing this position along the way. So if I do still see price pushing my favor well, I'll hold the position. If there's some break of structure or price starts to look a little bit iffy, I won't be afraid just to pull the plug and get out of the position if things aren't looking too well. But it's still fairly early on. Price is still roughly at my entry, so I don't want to micromanage and be too kind of minute with every fluctuation. But for the main kind of move, I'll be keeping a close eye. But yeah, for now, that's the only position I'm in. There's a few pairs I'm looking at this week, but it's not the most what's the word I'm looking for? I'm not seeing a crazy amount of setups. I'm seeing a good few. I'll go through my watch list. Euro yen's on the watch list, which of course we just spoke about. I quite like Euro yen, so keeping it very close for some pullbacks there. Pound yen on the watch list as well. We just went through that one too. I'm very bullish on pound yen. I like the opportunity for the break and retest. Those are the two only yen pairs on the watch list. Actually, CAD yen, but I just don't think the setup will happen. I'm also looking to see if I can short CAD yen for a nice double top at the highs here. The way I'm looking at CAD yen right now is that we've got a very corrective bullish move here, which to me just looks like price is putting another lower high for perhaps another sell. I'm looking at these swing highs, 1, 2, and I'm anticipating a third one. So if I can get another drive back into resistance, that would at least let me find a healthy entry and a good stop loss, and I'll be looking at something like that. Surely, based on how correct we're moving, this is not really giving me the signs of a reversal. I would look to see a lot more aggressive momentum, a lot more powerful moves to the upside if this was going to be a reversal. This looks like a very much a corrective pullback, and price is likely to head lower. So CAD yen, I'm still looking for a push lower, which is, of course, a little bit ironic because pound yen, euro yen, I'm looking to buy, but CAD yen, I'm looking to sell. Again, I don't mind because my trades have a larger risk to reward. So I'm not really too concerned about necessarily always being right. It's just about finding a good opportunity where there's value in the market, where it makes sense to sell, makes sense to put a stop loss, makes sense to put a target or a buy, of course. And if I can find an opportunity within that, I'm happy. So I'll keep a close eye on CAD yen shorts as well. Out of the USD pairs, Aussie dollar it's probably not my favorite pair, but it is on the watch list. Looking to short around 0.66. Basically, we'll be moving this channel for a while now. I like the look of the retest of the high end of the channel. So I'm waiting to see if we can get another drive back into the higher end. Then looking for some shorts for another lower swing high at the channel and at the top end of the channel, and then see if I can swing it back into the low. So very, very simple trade, nothing too complicated with this setup, but based on how correct we are looking, the chances of us pushing higher and coming back down again do look pretty high, especially if I can get some healthy rejection there. So just waiting on that one. That's pretty much it for the USD majors. Of course, silver's on the watch list. I like the buys for this one. Waiting on a retest of just below 35. Healthy breakout past few weeks. We've been so far nice and corrective on the way down. Let's hope that does continue. Retest that zone and hopefully find some buys off the back of that. Silver's definitely something I've been looking at for the past few weeks. Just staying patient, waiting for an opportunity. Crosses. Of course, since I am, excuse me, voice is a bit croaky. Since I already am in pound Aussie, I'm not necessarily looking to jump into any of the other crosses, probably at least until I get pound Aussie to break even. So I'm not too interested with them. CAD pairs, I think there could be some opportunities with like Euro CAD and pound CAD for some selling ideas, but I'm not looking to jump right into them. They've just created some new highs. I'm kind of looking for lower lows and lower highs to establish first before I do take any trades, and that's probably at least a week or two away. So these guys are not really on the watch list just yet, but they're definitely at some areas which I am looking to short them and I'm interested to short them. just the price action isn't quite there yet. Yeah, so I'm staying away. And the CHF pairs, not quite there for me yet either. So the watch list isn't really big this week, quite refined. Few pairs do need some work. Few pairs look really, really good, so keeping a close eye on them, especially like Euro Yen, Pound Yen. But I've got to be patient because they're not setting up just yet. Long in CAD Yen, okay. I am pretty bearish on CAD Yen. I was actually bullish last week, but I have switched the bias around since then. BTC, okay, we'll take a look. Do you have a particular level which you're looking to buy CAD Yen from? But yeah, I mean, I was looking to buy CAD Yen last week, but it was just so corrective, and the way we had that sell as well has definitely put me off the trade. Again, because we've had a very bearish market, and if this is going to be a reversal for CAD Yen, I will look to see if the market can give me a lot more impulsive bullish momentum, a lot more powerful bullish moves, since we've been very corrective. Every time price just clears a high, we have a big sell, cleared a high, another big sell. This doesn't give me a lot of confidence to buy the market. It's not a healthy bullish move, and to me it looks like we're probably having a pullback of that bearish move. I could be wrong. Of course, I'm not saying anything with certainty, but with trading, you've got to always work with the probability. And the way I'm looking at price right now is that I'm not seeing any convincing bullish structure right now, so therefore I would be bearish. And I'm looking to see if this will be a lower high, if we can retest that, or even if we start trending bearish, maybe look for a retest of a zone like this. I think that could end up being a nice short. Yeah, so that's kind of where I'm at with CAD Yen. If it is going to be bullish, and if we are going to push higher, I do want to see more convincing momentum. So if the market can give us a strong break to the upside, something like this with some convincing momentum, then yeah, I could switch back to being bullish again, looking for some longs, looking to continue that trend, because at least now I know there's some momentum there. That means we're likely to continue. But right now we're very, very corrective, and typically with corrective moves, they normally do end up selling off pretty hard as well. So unless some newfound momentum can come from somewhere, I would be a bit careful looking to buy CAD Yen for now. Okay, so BTC we'll take a look at. Yusuf, good morning, my man. Hope you're well. I had a great weekend. Thank you, thank you. Hope you had a good weekend as well. As for BTC, this one's looking a little bit bearish at the moment. Yeah, we are having a little bit of trouble at resistance right now. You can see the trend line we've got here, 1, 2, and potentially a third rejection over there. I mean, we are rejecting so far. Haven't pulled away yet, but that could just be pending. Your prices pull back into some resistance to our left there. We've got the trend line confluence. This is basically what I mentioned on the weekly analysis. I said if price can respect this area well, I think there could be a very nice sell back into the lows here at 99k and potentially further. We are still very stuck at the all-time highs for Bitcoin, so there is that downside opportunity for us. Still at resistance. I think it's a smart place for a short. Again, with the bigger move for BTC, I'm not too sure yet. I would still be pretty bullish as a whole, but we are putting in some counter trend bearish structure. So I would look to kind of flow with that and keep that up. And for now, I'm seeing some healthy rejection here. I like the way we're looking. I do fancy some downside. If price was starting to break out and of course see a strong close to the upside like this, okay, fair enough. BTC is probably bullish at that point. Probably going to swing back to the all-time high at 112 and probably see some new highs beyond that, and who knows, maybe a big bullish cycle. So if we are going to be bullish, I do need to see price break that resistance and break that trend line. I'll treat that as a breakout opportunity for potentially a big continuation, but for now the breakout doesn't look likely. Rejection is all we're seeing, and I would expect price to go lower. So as long as we can hold 108 109k, I would remain bearish and expecting a lot more downside. And then, of course, naturally targets back to the swing low. which is not good for crypto there. If BTC is going to swing down, looking at Ethereum quickly. Yeah, Ethereum, not too sure about this guy. We've had the fake of the range there. Price is now back at major support here. Looks like we're kind of stalling there as well. Might even have another push down. So yeah, I'm not liking the look of that at all. I think the key thing for Ethereum is that this support is holding 2240. As long as that can hold, that will keep the market bullish, or at least give us some hope that Ethereum might trend higher. Break through that, then we're probably going to come back to these lows, and that would not look good at all. How's XRP doing? Very, very flat. I mean, still relatively healthy, but I wouldn't be surprised if we do get another spike lower, which could be a good thing for buyers, but I feel like we probably will go through that. And XLM. Yeah, this had a massive pullback anyway. Is it another lower high? Could be. Which could take us back into these lows. Yeah, it's not looking the best, I have to say. I'm not looking the best in terms of some of the bigger cryptocurrencies. BTC is of course the big one, the big kind of leader, if you will. And that's not looking too hot either. Yes, overall bullish. We're still pretty much at all-time highs, so it is looking good as a whole. But intraday we are looking a little bit bearish, and there could be some downside there. So we'll watch out for that. Gold, okay, we can have a look. Simbonello, welcome to the stream. Hope you're well. Is it NFP this week? I thought NFP was next week. Yeah, I can't see NFP this Friday. I think it's next Friday. Or am I blind? I can't see it next Friday either. Maybe I'm just blind. Yeah, I can't see it this Friday. Oh, it's on Thursday. Yes, it is on Thursday. Would you look at that? NFP on a Thursday. It's been a while since I've seen NFP on a Thursday. But it's about, okay, bank holiday, okay, I suppose. Okay, that makes sense. I was going to say on a Thursday. Can't remember last time I've seen NFP on a Thursday. Anyway, yeah, we do have an NFP this week, so that should be interesting. I think dollar is a little bit kind of slow right now, so it's probably waiting for something like an NFP to get the ball rolling. Today's the last candle of the month and the quarter. Yes, that is true. The halfway point of the year. That's true. That is true. We could see some extra fluctuation as that wick kind of cements. But yeah, I mean, it would be interesting to look at the quarterly as well. I mean, for the most of the year, if you look at the quarterly chart for dollar, it's just two bearish candles, I'd imagine. We've just been falling since the start of the year. But yeah, thank you for letting me know there on Thursday. Yusuf, GJ shorts 97.760. Okay, I'm guessing 50-minute time frame there as well. We'll take a look, no problemo. What's up? Is it Eutychus? I hope I'm saying that correctly. Good morning, I hope you're good. Welcome to the stream. Buying Euro USD at 1.16. Okay, we'll have a look at that as well. Dima, good morning, my man. Welcome to the stream. Hope you're well. Okay, let me go through gold before I forget. But yeah, gold, I am pretty bearish on this one. And again, at least kind of intraday for the week, I am pretty bearish. We had some lovely bullish structure as of late, but that has been invalidated. Price has broken through that. You can see the higher highs and higher lows price has been printing, which made me pretty bullish and looking for a drive back to the highs, but that didn't sustain. Price broke through. We formed another lower high last week and we broke through key levels of support and basically gave us the break of structure. This was the swing low, which gave us the swing high. So next for gold, I would be favoring a push back to the lows here at 31.50. As long as we can maintain this bearish structure, I see us falling. I like the look of a retest of this range here. Brief pause in the market, nice drop to the downside of that bearish candle. I would suggest to keep a close eye for the retest of that same zone and looking for some shorting opportunities off the back of that. I think that makes a lot of sense. So in my book, looking for gold to keep falling. Yeah, as long as we don't take out that high at 33.50, I would suggest gold is likely to fall back into support. I think this could be a good trade on the lower time frames, like an hourly chart. But yeah, bearish on gold, expecting more downside this week. In terms of GJ, Yusuf said you're looking to short GJ. I'm pretty bullish from pound yen, but I suppose you're looking for shorts on the 15-minute chart, which I think makes sense. These are the buys I'm looking for on the 4-hour time frame. We've got prior resistance going through the market, which hopefully will be acting as support. We've got successive high lows. Of course, price broke through structure here on the daily chart. We had lower lows and lower highs over here, but price since then has broken through that. So I would expect to see a swing back to the origin of that bearish structure, which would be this high here, just shy of 200. So I'm looking to see if we can get another drive back into that high, and then maybe beyond that, we'll see how price reacts. But yeah, I'm looking for a pullback into this level to catch the next higher low, hopefully. And then, of course, at least a swing back to resistance, and then hopefully a push back into 200. On the 50-minute chart, I can imagine there could be some selling opportunities, especially after that breakout we saw this morning. We've seen a lot of consolidation there for pound yen over the past few days. Now that we had a decisive move lower after failed breakouts higher, yeah, I don't mind the short idea. I think if you can see a pullback into this zone, I think that'll be a smart place for a sell that the lower high presents, and you can probably catch a nice swing lower, at least back into prior lows, but maybe back into the zone which I'm looking to buy from. I think that could look like a nice swing trade in the lower time frames even. But you're looking to short from 197.760, which is around, okay, you're looking to short on the retest of this low. Yeah, I like it. I probably would wait for a bigger pullback myself. I mean, I like the direction, I like the idea, looking for a pullback of this drive here. I probably would wait for a slightly bigger pullback. I can kind of see this being somewhat of a head and shoulder pattern here. Left, kind of a weird head, right shoulder. So personally, I would wait for a slightly bigger pullback. Not that we can't reject this area and continue. That could definitely be the case, but preferably I would wait for a bigger pullback. Just because we haven't broken this level by much. This would be a nice place for a retest if the breakout was a bit bigger and had a bit more momentum. Then yes, I would consider the retest of that area. But the pullback is a little bit too shallow for me. I always favor slightly bigger pullbacks. My thinking with that is always I want to be getting into pullbacks later than everyone else because that's where the opportunity lies. I don't want to be the first one into the pullback or the second or the third. I want to be right at the end where the pullback is potentially coming to an end and we're likely to fall. And a lot about taking those opportunities is just waiting a little bit longer than other people. Because if you think about it, if the market is going to pull back and continue, then the only way that you do get stopped out, you do take a loss, is just by getting in too early before the market does continue. So I'd rather enter right at the top, right at the end. Sometimes you might miss the pullback, don't get me wrong. You'll be waiting for a deeper pullback, which never comes, and the market does continue. That will be a scenario, of course. But the beauty of it is that you get in late, you get in at the end where people get stopped out, you're getting in. And the beauty of it is it's not complicated, it's not rocket science. You just have to wait a little bit later, wait for a slightly deeper pullback, wait for the second or the third entry signal. So yeah, I would wait for a slightly bigger pullback than the retest of that zone. But same idea really, and I do think there's more downside to be had. But of course, I'm looking at the 4-hour chart, so that's kind of where I want to be operating on. But same idea really. Euro USD, we'll take a look at that buy opportunity as well. Uticus, what's up? Asim, good morning, my man. Hope you're well. Pound CAD, no problem. Euro Aussie, no problem. We'll take a look. So yeah, with Euro USD, with this one, I'm still pretty bullish, at least for the intraday play. Everything is still pointing up. I'm looking at the overall market structure, and I'm still seeing consistent higher highs and higher lows. Of course, we've taken out the highs here to our left, and that keeps the market moving higher. We've got prior resistance over here, which of course should be turned support now. We've got this brief pause here in the market. We had a nice rally, price pause, consolidated, saw another break to the upside as well. So that tells us, okay, we've got a lot of momentum from this area. If price was to come back and retest the zone, I would suggest that we're likely to see a bounce from that area. So to me, Euro USD looks like a nice bullish market, but again, I'll keep it intraday. I wouldn't look for any big swings with this one. The trend is still relatively quite corrective here, so it's not like we've got a healthy trend on our hands right now. Trend has been up for a while, but we're running out of steam. We're looking a bit more corrective. I would expect a big pullback to happen for Euro USD in the next coming days, weeks. So that's kind of what I'm getting ready for as a swing trader. But yeah, in terms of intraday, I would be looking at pullbacks roughly in this area. You said you're looking to buy at 1.16851, which would be around here. So if I just draw in some support there, 851, more or less around here. I mean, it's not a bad area. I would kind of look at this in terms of a range. So looking to buy here is basically buying the low of the range. This is a bit of a consolidation Euro USD stuck in. So buying there is essentially buying at the low of the range, anticipating price to respect the low and bounce back up again, which again, nothing wrong with that. It's an effective kind of way to trade ranges. You want to be at the low, you want to be at the high, not in the middle. That's where all the uncertainty does lie. Not really my type of trades. Again, momentum is dying down. I would wait for a bigger pullback for Euro. I think, yes, it's a nice place for a buy, but I wouldn't look to bet on anything big. If you could see a push back to the opposite side, I think that's a great trade in itself if it does play out. I'll probably lock in some gains halfway, just because momentum is starting to dry as well. Again, it's not like the trend is very healthy anymore. I do prefer the bigger pullback there for Euro, of course, bigger risk reward as well. But I can see the logic there. But the way I see it, price is ranging, essentially just trying to look to buy the low of that range in the lower time frames. Okay, so pound CAD we'll take a look at next. If I've missed out a pair, if someone's requested something and I've just not got to it yet, let me know. But I will have a look-see at pound CAD next. Euro Aussie, of course, we'll take a look as well. So pound CAD, Euro Aussie, Yusuf, no problem, happy to help. Thoughts on Euro and EU consolidation? Okay, I'll take a look at them as well. But first, let's go through pound CAD. So pound CAD, I'm actually keeping an eye on this one. I do think there could be some very nice selling opportunities for pound CAD in the near future. And the market's quite bullish, we're quite stretched. I do think we can turn around pretty soon and see a much bigger pullback. We've taken out some major highs here dating back to 2018. And I think the market is just quite stretched now and some selling opportunities could be coming around. It's the last day of the month, last day of the quarter, as Simbonello mentioned. So we could see a little bit of kind of price reversing momentum to give us a bit of an upper wick on those candles. I think we're kind of seeing that on pound CAD a little bit. If price is forming a top here, it's struggling to break through highs, then in terms of the shorts, I do want to see some established bearish structure first before I do get short on this one. Otherwise, this is still a bullish market and I don't want to be looking to short something without some bearish structure at least. So yeah, pound CAD looks like we're failing at highs. There could be a bit of a reversal here. We've had a couple attempts trying to break resistance. Both have kind of fallen flat in their face right now. So sellers are looking good here, respecting highs very well. Let's see if that can continue. Let's see if that can develop into some bearish structure. If it does, there could be some shorting opportunities that do make a lot of sense, and we can start looking to target some lows because I do expect to see somewhat of a reversal or a big counter trend move over the next few weeks, but that's still a long way away from now. So yeah, pound CAD, I'm looking to short. You can short the highs here. It's just very, very aggressive trade, essentially going against all of this momentum here, which again is quite aggressive. Momentum is not in your favor. High time frames are not in your favor. It's not a bad trade. It's a smart location. You can get some nice stop losses above the high here as well. So it makes sense looking to short there. But it's just a very aggressive trade. Aggressive doesn't mean bad, it just means aggressive. The beauty of it, if it does play out, you're locked in at the highs there. You got a great entry and you can probably capitalize on a pretty big swing. And you're away from all the noise as well. So you can probably stomach some bigger pullbacks and look for some bigger moves as well. So it's got its pros as well. In terms of Euro Aussie, this one has been slowly climbing to the upside, still very corrective. I do think there's a big move to the downside for this one, but it's not quite ready yet. We are looking like we're approaching some resistance here. Not really seeing any overwhelming rejection there, so I wouldn't look to short Euro Aussie. Looks like we're just about to slowly spill over into highs there. So with Euro Aussie, the overall trend is up. I do think we are running out of steam. You can see how corrected price is. I do think we can see a bit of a sell-off. Maybe price might stall here and then eventually turn around. If that's the case, then what I would want to see is a push lower and then look to capitalize on the lower high. Maybe a retest of this area might be a nice short. A lot needs to happen before we can really start talking about ideas to short the market. You can look for sells up here, which again, more of an aggressive trade, looking to short all that momentum, but it will do wonders if it does play out because you're positioned well, you got a nice stop loss, and maybe do capitalize on a full swing back to lows as well. So again, it's up to you how you want to go about that. But the buys are looking like they're running out of steam. So unless we have some newfound momentum and the trend looks healthy again, I would stay away. To me, this looks very, very corrective. And I would be expecting us to eventually sell off, but just no bearish structure just yet. So that's the main thing we're kind of looking to wait for. Okay, where was I? Euro USD, Pound USD. Okay, we'll take a look at Yusuf. Pound Aussie. Okay, we'll have a look. Lighten, what is up? Good to have you on the stream, my man. Hope you are well. Dollar yen, yes, we'll take a look. Please do not spam the chat, or I'll have to remove you. Again, it's not healthy for the chat. If you just spam it, it does ruin the flow of the chat, please. So just put it once. If I don't get to it in a bit, then you can, of course, remind me, but please do not spam. Euro USD, so consolidation. I assume you're talking about the 15-minute consolidation. Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't do anything really, Yusuf, to be honest, especially if I'm looking to trade in the 15. I'd wait for this to develop in terms of, do we break to the upside, do we break to the downside, then look for opportunities off the back of that. If we're just going to remain in the range, I wouldn't do anything. It's not worthwhile. Unless you're looking to trade a ranging market, then of course you can find some opportunities around that. But if you're looking to trade, trend, momentum, market structure, there's none of that right now, unless we do break to the upside and look for continuations. But I like the bigger pullback, more so like the hourly 4-hour chart. Pullbacks back into this area. I think there could be some nice buys there off that zone. In terms of the consolidation here, I'm not seeing anything. I'm really not seeing anything. Sometimes something can brew, but yeah, I'm not seeing anything. I'll just wait for more information, really. Again, not every market structure is going to be ripe to trade. Sometimes you're going to have to sit back, sit on your hands, let the market do what it wants, and hopefully some opportunities could come around later in the week. As of right now, I would stay away, really. And in terms of pound USD as well, pound USD looks a little bit better. It looks like we're actually starting to put some lower highs in. So 1, 2, 3. This looks like we've got some type of bearish structure at play. So if this does continue, then I wouldn't mind some shorts here for pound. Another push lower, because on the 4-hour chart, I am looking for another push into this zone, where we've got some healthy consolidation, a very sharp break to the upside. You've got the retest of the prior high. This will be turn support. We've had some really healthy momentum. So I do like the look of pound USD pulling back into this level and then a continuation back into the high. So I like that idea there for pound. And just looking at the 15, there is some bearish structure there. So of course we've missed this swing, but perhaps another one does form. Maybe retesting a prior low, maybe retesting this range here. It depends how we push and how we pull back. But to me, it looks like pound USD is putting some bearish structure, so we can take advantage of that. There's something there that makes sense to me for pound USD. Euro is just all over the place. No kind of consistency in terms of direction. That's just pure consolidation. Pound, yeah, it is consolidation as well, but there is some staggered lower highs here. And there perhaps could be another one if we do continue, and that we could probably take advantage of if we can look for a swing high to form and find some shorts off the back of that. So pound USD, to me, looks like something could be there. As for euro, pure nonsense, really. So I would wait for more information. Again, sometimes you're going to come to your charts, to your pairs that you trade. Sometimes it's going to look absolutely horrendous. Don't feel the need to always need to analyze and successfully dictate where price is going to go next. Sometimes there's just no point to do it. You could be scratching your heads, squinting your eyes, trying to find out which way price is going to go. You're wasting your time most of the time. You want to only take opportunities where you look at the chart and the direction and the idea which you're looking to trade is almost absolutely clear. You look at the chart, within the first 30 seconds, you kind of know exactly what you're looking to do and where you're looking to do your business. If it's taking you more than 30 seconds, really, a minute, then it's probably not obvious, it's probably not clear cut, and probably not high quality. So probably best to move on and just wait for more information and wait for better opportunities to come around. In terms of pound Aussie, I am short with this one. I've been holding this one since Friday or Thursday? Thursday. It's been very sideways, still respecting resistance. I'm looking for a counter trend move here for pound Aussie. Again, it is going against the higher time frame momentum. We've been very, very bullish for a while, but since we have taken out COVID highs, I have been looking for us to give us somewhat of a bearish trend here. It might just be a counter trend move, but I am positioned well that if a counter trend move does happen, I can profit on it well, lock in some gains, trail some positions as well, and hopefully capitalize on a bigger move. But we have come back into a nice kind of area of supply resistance. You can see we had the initial drop, price moved sideways, formed a lower high, another drop there as well. And since then, we've just been banging our heads at resistance on this level. And we had another nice rejection last week, which I hopped into a short from. Since then, price has just been fluctuating in and out of profit, around my entry. So no real development. There's some support prices forming here. If we do consolidate and it goes in for a while, I might just pull the plug on the trade, because the idea is that I want price, I want sellers to be jumping in at this level, driving price lower. Sometimes we might consolidate a little bit, then drop. But if we do consolidate for a while, I might pull the plug, because that probably means there's a greater chance we break higher than break lower. I think a break of this support level will really get the trade going. So if we can see that happen, that'll be great. But if we do start to consolidate a little bit longer, maybe give it a couple of days, see how that happens, I might pull the plug. I do have my stop loss there, of course. So worst case scenario, we'll take a loss. If it does play out, great. I'll look to take most of my profit at the lows here. Then I'll just trail the rest and see how we go. If this is going to be a big move, which I'm kind of expecting, kind of looking at price coming back into this area. This is where we had a bit of a pause, a lot of momentum shot to the upside. I think price might be attracted towards this area here. So longer term bias, I think pound Aussie has a lot of room to cover. If we are going to be bullish, if this trend is going to break higher, then what I do want to see is a convincing break above resistance here. And then yes, I would be bullish after that for pound Aussie, because at that point, it simply does look like the trend on the daily chart is just likely to continue at that point. If we do break resistance here, then yeah, we're probably likely just to push back into the swing high at 2.15. So if I do see a convincing break to the upside, I would look for pullbacks, look for a higher low opportunity, and maybe a swing back into resistance as target. So that would be a nice trade from a buyer's perspective. But as of yet, that's not the case. So I just have to be patient and see what price does at that level. But yeah, that's kind of where I'm at for pound Aussie. My analysis for pound Aussie, pound NZ is pretty much the same. Of course, they're very similar pairs, but they're both kind of stuck at resistance. I'm expecting a bit of a move down. If they do break through, I probably would switch my bias for both of them and be quite bullish. We'll go through dollar yen. Looks like Jay is itching. Jay, can you stop spamming the chat, please? If you do that again, I will remove you. I'm taking a look at dollar yen. Other people have requested before you, and I'm going to go through their markets respectively, and I'll get to dollar yen. US 30 Samuel, yes, I'll take a look. Lighten, USD ZAR, dollar CAD, we'll take a look. Letting this week pass is best. Yeah, potentially, if you're waiting for news, for understanding of market direction, that would make sense. If I see a good opportunity, I will take it regardless. But of course, NFP I know is going to be an interesting situation on Thursday. That will cause, well, hopefully cause movement. The market has been a bit stale. Quite a lot of pairs have been sideways. So I'm actually looking for a big NFP, to be honest. But of course, that will help direction. But yeah, in terms of fundamentals, if you're kind of looking for clarity on that end, waiting for NFP to be done will, of course, provide some clarity in terms of direction. So starting back up again next week, I can see the logic in that. Casper, confirmation they use apart from engulfing candles for entry confirmation. 99% of my entries are engulfing candles. Sometimes, if things are looking very good and if there's a very strong wick rejection, I will go with a wick. But very, very rarely would I just take an entry based on a long wick. Majority of my entries are bullish engulfing candles. A good combination, a powerful entry is an engulfing candle combined with a long wick as well. Very, very nice entry candle. Doesn't happen as often as I would like, but when it does happen, those are probably some of my best entries. But yeah, engulfing candles, very, very simple, but effective, and if used well, are great entry confirmations. Again, with an entry confirmation, you don't want to overcomplicate it. What an entry does to you, it just basically shows that the idea you had is now likely to happen, or price is now likely to move in that direction. Of course, whether it gets to your overall target, that's something else. But if you're expecting price to go up and you see something that now shows, okay, we're likely to go up now, that's all you're looking for in terms of an entry. There are many different candlestick patterns you can look at, but from my experience, bullish engulfing, bearish engulfing are the most effective, and they're very common as well. So it's not like you have to work hard to try and find the bullish engulfing candle. Most reversals, if you kind of just gauge the market, do kind of bearish engulfing, bullish engulfing almost, bullish engulfing there, bearish engulfing there. They're very frequent and they do dictate normally reversals as well. So 99% of my entries are with engulfing candles. But again, engulfing's not all. Engulfing's just one piece of the puzzle. The setup, the location, the stop loss, the targets, the direction you're trading, the confluences, that makes the trade. Engulfing is just, okay, now it's time to get involved. Engulfing's not the secret weapon, it's just to allow you to enter. That's all it is. In terms of dollar yen, which we finally get to, Jay, rejoice. But yeah, with dollar yen, not my favorite pair, but I'm still pretty bearish with this one. I think we can keep falling. Dollar yen's probably the only yen pair which I'm kind of confidently. Other yen pairs looking a little bit awkward, and euro yen and pound yen I'm actually pretty bullish with them. So there's a bit of a contradiction between the yen pairs. But I'm looking to see if we can get back into support at 140. That's where I'm looking to expect price to be at. So in terms of opportunities to trade that's where it gets a little bit tricky. We've been very, very consistent with these lower highs. We put in 2 recent nice lower highs, one over there, second over there. Not confirmed yet because we haven't seen new lows, but prices had some very sharp rallies and still failing to make new highs. So I would suggest they're likely to be lower highs and we're likely to keep falling. I like resistance here at 146. It's not the best level in the world. We have broken through it a couple of times, so it hasn't really been respected well, but it has proven to be some solid resistance. So I would suggest a push back into 146. Maybe the next lower high after this high could form, and maybe we catch the follow through back into lows. So that's kind of the best I've got right now. The reason why I'm kind of a little bit on dollar yen is not necessarily the opportunity. I like the shorts. I like where we're going. It's just the level which I'm selling from is just not of the highest quality. You can see prices broken through it in the past. That hasn't really been respected well. Of course, there are some decent rejections there, but it's not necessarily something I'll get too excited about. So yeah, dollar yen I'm pretty bearish on. Expecting pushback into support here at least, and of course the lows there, and a retest of resistance. I would say it's a smart place to short, a smart place for a stop loss as well. As of right now, we're literally in the middle of a range, so I wouldn't do anything here. This is where the most indecision is and speculation. I wouldn't get involved in those areas at all. We might just keep falling as well. We might not necessarily pull back there as well. We might just keep falling, but again, I'm not really interested in that either. Okay, so hopefully that made sense. Fundamentally, pound is stronger than Aussie at the moment. Yeah, pound has been stronger than Aussie. I'm looking to see if that can turn around. Euro yen, okay, Dan, we'll take a look, no problem. To Shepo, what is up? How many years have you been trading? Did you know? Did you pick swing trading other styles? What influenced your decision to go on swing trade? Good questions. This summer it's going to be 8 years since I was first introduced to trading, since I first got involved. So it's been almost a decade now. No, I've been through numerous styles of trading. When I first started, it was very intraday. Actually, not too intraday. I was trading on the hourly chart, but I wasn't looking for big moves. I was pretty much getting into the market and waiting for about 3 or 4 candles and I'll be out the trade. So it's very kind of quick trading. I'm still in the trade for about 3 or 4 hours because it's on the hourly time frame, but I'll only be in the trade for about 3 or 4 candles and I'll get out. Yeah, very, very kind of lower risk to reward ideas. But yeah, I've been through numerous styles of trading the 15, trading on the 5 a little bit. 15 is probably the lowest I've gone, which I've spent time on. But 15 hourly, been intraday, been swing. I've held for longer positions, like 3 months as well. But swing in terms of kind of where I'm at now, in terms of projects I'm working on, other things I'm working on, in terms of the speed of the trades I take, I quite like as well. It allows me to focus on numerous markets. I feel like when I was on the hourly chart, because I trade over 30 markets, I trade all FX majors and minors, gold and silver. So if you drop too low on the time frames, it's difficult to stay up to date with all of those markets because a lot can change in the hourly chart. Of course, the hourly and the 4 hour are not too different. 4 hour candles just 4 1-hour candles, but there's only 6 candles in one day for a 4-hour candle, so it slows it right down. It's not too slow, but not too quick either. It allows me to kind of stay up to date with price action and stay up to date with pretty much all the markets I look at. So it allows me to trade pretty much all my markets I'm looking at. It's not too slow, gives me enough opportunities, and allows me to focus on other projects as well. So that's kind of why I like swing, and the main reason why I'm there right now. But yeah, day trading, I've spent a lot of time there. I like day trading as well. Again, day trading is not too fast paced for me as well. And it's a bit faster than swing trading, so that's the main pull of day trading. It's a bit quicker, which I do like. But yeah, in terms of juggling everything, in terms of juggling different markets as well, it's a little bit difficult. Yes, Casper, I've actually tried that a few times, but I don't know, I'm very kind of OCD about that. I've tried changing colors, of course, for psychological reasons, because of course some people get a bit too excited when you see a big bullish candle, big bearish candle. It doesn't really affect me, to be honest. I don't really need it for the psychological reasons, so it doesn't necessarily help for that. I'm quite relaxed, to be honest, so a big bearish candle doesn't necessarily do too much for me. Maybe on a small scale, maybe it makes me slightly emotionally charged. A bearish candle, I can't say absolutely zero for sure, but it's not, I don't find myself jumping into trade just because I see a big bearish candle. You know, I'm very structured about how I'm going to take my trade. So from a psychological reason, I would say yes. I think especially if you're early on your journey, that could help. But yeah, I quite like the colors, to be honest. Having all the same color looks just a little bit too kind of repetitive. Sometimes can be difficult to differentiate between bullish and bearish candles. Sometimes I have to squint a little bit, like, is that bearish candle? Yes, it is. I'd rather just have it separated, and just have the color separated. So yeah, but it's a good idea though. It's a good idea. Some people swear by it. I've tried it. It's not bad. It's just I prefer the separation, so I can clearly see which candles is which. Yusuf, last one gold. Okay, I'll go have a look. Okay, so I'll go for Euro Yen for Dan first. So yeah, Euro Yen I'm pretty bullish on. This is a pair I'm keeping a close tab on. I think there's a lot more upside for Euro Yen, because if this breakout means business, if this breakout is here to stay, then there could be a very big drive back to the price swing high, which is all the way up at 175. We've broken through resistance here. The next big target would be resistance at 175. So basically, I'm just looking for the pullback to find the next high low to continue that momentum. Price has been very choppy, very range bound. We've finally broken to the upside, and if this momentum is going to continue, then I want to see if I can be a part of that, catching the lower swing highs, swing lows, higher swing lows. But yeah, I needed some pullbacks to start with. There's two areas I'm looking at: the retest of this high here and the retest of this high / this pullback. Yeah, I'm looking to see if we can get into these areas, see if we can get some healthy rejection. If things look good, take some entries, swing it back to the high there, then I'll just trail stops and see how far I can run the rest. And same thing with this idea here as well. If we have a slightly deeper pullback, I like the look of 165. But Euro Yen, to me, it looks like we're starting to lose momentum a little bit, starting to come a bit more corrective. So if we can see a bigger pullback, that would be great. And either of those areas look sufficient for some buys. Of course, how we get there and how we react is going to dictate whether I do get long or not. But yeah, very bullish, looking for more upside there on Euro Yen, just looking to follow momentum really. So yeah, that's kind of where I'm at with Euro Yen. Hopefully that made sense. It's a pair I'm looking at closely myself. Okay, Yusuf, we'll go for your gold opportunity. Casper. I guess so. I guess so. I guess it is a polite way to say that. But yeah, I mean, I've been trading for a while, so if I jump into a trade randomly just because I see a big bearish candle, then I'll probably end up slapping myself pretty hard. So yeah, I mean, again, starting out, I think it's a good way to kind of control yourself a little bit. If you find that is a weakness in your game, you sometimes get too excited and see a big candle, you click buy or sell. Then yeah, experimenting with kind of having the same color for each candlestick can definitely help, or even just you can have different colors, but just like a gray and like a darker gray. That could help as well, because of course gray is a very neutral color. But yeah, I kind of like the green and the blue. I think it's just a personal preference, really. But yeah, I've experimented in the past. Simbanello, not a golf fan now. Okay, even though the Fed is more concerned about growth, that's where the rate cuts almost like. Okay. Yeah, I mean, I thought gold would be a bit more bullish just because of the conflict going on at the moment. So I would expect gold to be heavily bought, or at least more so than it is. But it looks like that hasn't actually had too much of a reaction. Looks like gold participants are paying more attention elsewhere. So yeah, I'm still bullish on gold as a whole, but yeah, maybe we do go for a bigger pullback. I am actually looking at bearish move on gold at the moment. So long term, yes, I'm still gold. The uptrend is still absolutely amazing, as we can all see. This is a very, very bullish market as a whole. So I'm still very much a buyer longer term, but at the moment we've broken through some structure. We're seeing lower lows and lower highs. I do fancy us to follow a little bit further, to be honest. But Yusuf, for your idea, let me get to that. Do you think the support level at 32.63? Let me drop to the 15. 32.63. Where is that? Okay, that's around there. Okay, on the 4 hour chart. Okay. Let me get to the 4 hour. So does that support hold? I was looking for a short at 32.96. 32.96. Okay, so I'm guessing this was a short on a intraday level. That's 95, but more or less 96. I was looking for a short at 32.96, but like you said, I'll wait for a deeper pullback. Okay, nice. Yeah, I would agree. This is the first up move of the week. Yes, it could give us a sell. It could give us a sell here, but it's Monday. We've literally just seen the first rally. I would bet that we do see more highs before we do fall. I think there'll be a lot of liquidity here. Price can likely go and run through that before we do continue. Again, sometimes we do fall from here. Sometimes the first one in the trade does hit a successful trade and they make some profit. It's not every time price will do that. But like I say, a good rule of thumb is that you want to be a little bit late into the market than everyone else. Not in terms of like a reversal, but in terms of a pullback. If the market is going to pull back, I don't want to be the first person into that trade. I want to be near to the end where, of course, the pullback does turn around. And sometimes you have to be a bit more patient, a little bit more courageous, because, people are thinking, okay, it's going to drop now, And that, of course, psychologically forces them into positions. Being a bit more patient does allow you to catch pullbacks a little bit later, and it helps you risk reward and just makes you kind of take less trades and focus a bit more on quality. So I think by default, I wouldn't actually wait for a bigger pullback. I like this 30-10 area. That's kind of where this support lies. And we had a bit of a consolidation there. Price broke through quite a lot of momentum. So natural retest looks good there. Do I think that support holds? I think it eventually does break. Would it hold again if price pushes there? I don't know. We have to see how price reacts. It might do, it might not. To me, these are some really aggressive wicks, so I do think naturally we will see some more upside anyway. But yeah, again, we're not fortune tellers here. We can only just deal with probability. Does it hold? I would have to see how price reacts. If I was looking to short gold, I would wait for a bit more upside before shorting. price finding resistance here, then breaking through that resistance gives me a bit more confidence to short it, because it tells me that, okay, price is number one, it's quite corrective. Number two, early sellers are stopped out. Maybe that causes some buyers to get in, and this is where I can find hopefully some opportunities. So yeah, I like the idea. I would wait for a deep pullback for gold. Yes, we may fall from here. That could be the scenario. We're not to know until it does happen. But especially with the way we pull back, I would wait for a bigger pullback anyway. Or at least the double top there. At least the double top. And but yeah, I do expect it to eventually break. I'm just not too sure if it will break now or on the next test. For your entries, do you enter the market or stop order? Always market execution. I never use stop orders, not because they're not good. It's just I've literally got absolutely zero experience with orders. I think I've only ever placed about 3 orders in my whole trading career, and they're all for fun, really. So as I started my journey, I've always used candlestick patterns to dictate entries. I've had a number of different strategies, but every single strategy I've ever used, I've always come back to candlesticks to enter me into a position. One of the first things I learned when I did start trading, and I've been using them ever since. And of course, with a candlestick pattern entry, you want to wait for the candle to close and then enter. So you're always using market execution because you're waiting for the candle to close. Okay, valid entry signal. Let me place my entry. So I've seen some people where they'll wait for a bullish engulfing candle, like this, for example. So you got the bearish candles are falling. They'll wait for the bullish engulfing candle to form, and then they'll set like an order halfway down the candle, waiting for the next candle to tap into that and then continue. I suppose there's some logic there because you're kind of waiting for a retracement and then a continuation. I guess sometimes you get the pullback, it gives you a better entry as well. Your entry's not there, it's here. I suppose that does increase your risk to reward there, so I can get the logic there. Sometimes, of course, that won't happen. You miss out on that. So there's pros and cons to it as well. And I suppose that's a way to use orders. But again, I've always used entries. So yeah, I don't really have much experience using orders. Maybe it's something that I look to test out, but not for the near future. I'm happy with it, just using market execution. Malik, how was my weekend? It was good, thank you. It was good, refreshing. Ready again for a new week. Hope your weekend was good as well. Tony Gold, what's up, my man? Hope you're well. Welcome to the stream. USDZAR. I apologize, Lighton. I completely forgot about USDZAR. I knew I was forgetting something. I normally always forget someone's request. And today it was you, Lighton. But yeah, I'll go through these are first. Apologies. We should start swing trading. Do you set a bunch of alerts on many different pairs, or do you check manually? I only set an alert when I know price is very close to an entry level. And yeah, so for example, let's say if I'm looking to buy at this level for gold, since price is here, I wouldn't set an alert because there's no need. I'll come back here at the end of the day. I normally check my charts at the end of each day, by the way. And there's only 6 candles on the 4-hour chart. I trade in the 4-hour time frame. Of course, I do a lot of analysis on the higher time frames, but in terms of entry and managing trades, it's all on the 4-hour. There's 6 4-hour candles in one day, so there's not a lot can happen within those 6 candles, and especially now, we've already had one that closed at 2, already had ones that closed at 6, 10. So we've already had 3 candles. We've only got 3 more left. In 3 candles, we're probably not going to see price at this level. So I only use alerts when price is really close, like when price is like here. So I'll just set an alert because that could trigger at any moment. But when we're far away, I don't use alerts because there's just no point. I'll be here tomorrow. I'll see how price develops. So only if the entry's just about come close. But yeah, any chart that looks good, close to an entry signal, I'll put it on. Most of the time I don't because I'm normally there anyway. But yeah, in terms of USDZAR, I haven't actually looked at this one since last week, so I have no idea how this has developed. Okay, so we did end up respecting support here. Of course, we had that lovely wick on the daily chart. Momentum hasn't really kicked off since then. We had a bit of a wick to the upside on Friday. It looks like we kind of respected this area. Yeah, the market looks still flat. I mean, I'm still bearish long term, so I'm still looking at the push into this low as the target. But yeah, we are a bit flat now. If we're not going to get a big double bottom here, not get a bigger pullback, if price is going to continue bearish, then I would want to see price go and break support well. And of course, naturally, that will provide some nice opportunities to short. This range will become an area of interest, waiting for a pullback, a retest there, and then some selling opportunities will look good. So USDZAR, bearish is the expectation, still looking at more downside. It looks like momentum is still with the bears, but we are still respecting support. So I would need to wait for that support to break before looking for pullbacks. I still like this zone up here, which I'm looking for the bigger pullback. If this double bottom is going to form and we are going to push higher, I would definitely keep an eye at 18.4 for that big pullback. But yeah, we're finding it really hard to see some upside. A lot of wicks there, momentum's not really picking up well. So if USDZAR is going to be bearish, let's wait for support to clear. Then naturally some pullbacks will look good, and a 17.06 would be my expectation. But yeah, we're very flat right now. A double bottom could be forming. You can probably look to try and find some entries at support there. A bit more of an aggressive trade because of course momentum is against you. But let's say if you push back into support, see another rejection, basing a trade off that, I would say is a smart move. Stops below the low. If you're looking to wait for a short, then I would need to see that break and retest. But in terms of the bigger move, I still do fancy USDZAR falling. But yeah, apologies, I completely forgot about that. Okay, where was I? No problem, Kojo, happy to help. Simpanodo this week. News comes greater for USD. Wait, see, but July definitely we go see first rate cuts. If this week, okay, that means we're going to see first rate cut. Gold is going to fly. Yeah, I would expect so as well. And I think that's what a lot of people are waiting for. But yeah, we'll see. Of course, I'll keep an eye on NFP on Thursday, surprisingly. But yeah, unless price action takes a big turnaround, I think gold is likely to fall for the next few days. We'll see what happens with NFP because that could change things, of course. Still long-term bullish, but I can only see shorts for now. Nathaniel, 50-minute chart. Which chart are we talking about here? You're talking about 15 in general. Let me know if there's a certain pair you want me to take a look at. Roddy, what's up? Yes, just again drop it down in the chat. I'll take a look. You're a USD. I'm a newbie. Welcome to the stream, my man. Hope you're well. So yeah, I do go through pretty much any pair that people request, to be honest. I normally specialize in FX, so that's my bread and butter. But if you do want me to take a look at some indices, even some stocks, other commodities, let me know. I'll take a look as well. But yeah, Euro USD I can definitely take a look at. US 30, that's another one I forgot about. Apologize. Is that Samueli? I hope I'm saying that correctly. I'll take a look at that one first because I know you requested that ages ago. So we'll get to that and I'll take a look at Euro USD. So yeah, US 30, I haven't actually looked at the indices. Wow, US 30, impressive. So it looks like US 30 is well on its way back to the all-time high. So yeah, keep everything very, very simple. Look to buy US 30. Pullbacks is what you're after. This one is very likely to push back to highs. I'm pretty sure the NAS made some new all-time highs recently. Yes, we did. I'm pretty sure S&P made new all-time highs recently. Yes, we did. So the market is just very, very bullish as a whole. And I would expect US 30 to go join the party. So if you're looking for opportunities, wait for some pullbacks and some longs. Ideally, a pullback here would be very, very nice. Pullback into prior high, but of course this brief pause in the market, which did give us a very nice breakout. So that tells me a lot of buyers came in at this area. So should we revisit? I think this would be a smart place for a buy. Do I expect US 30 to pull back all the way there? Probably not. Gauging momentum, I don't think we will have a big pullback like that, to be honest. So if I drop a bit more intraday, I would probably look at this weird bearish move here. It's quite a big area, but a very strong sell followed by a very aggressive buy. I would suggest we're probably likely to tap into this and continue. I think if you're going to be on the intraday level, I'll just keep looking for the shorter, the smaller pullbacks, looking to buy the lows and just keep the momentum up. This would be nice for a bigger pullback, more of a swing trade, but again, I don't see us likely having that big pullback. I would suggest keep an eye on this area here initially. Let's see how we react with that kind of area. There is this area here which we did tap into. You can see brief consolidation there. Nice breakout. Price came back to tap into that. Nice reaction. This would also be a nice place for a buy too. But for now, I'll keep an eye on that retest there. So yeah, US 30 very bullish. I would only be looking to buy this. Only looking to buy. Few zones to keep an eye out for. But targets back to 45k pretty much. So yeah, apologies for getting to that a little bit later than I should have done, but hopefully that made sense. So yeah, Euro USD still bullish. Again, it's a very corrective trend, so it's not like it's a healthy trending market. We are still bullish for the most part, but very, very corrective on the way up. So yes, the trend is up, but I'm seeing signs of us slowing down, and possibly there could be a bigger pullback in store, counter trend move in store. So I think the buys make sense for Euro USD, but I'll keep it short and sweet. I did mention this area here as a nice, again, area of demand, sorry. Nice consolidation there. Price broke out with some healthy momentum. We've of course got the retest of the prior high there. So there's some confidence in this area. You can see the channel price has been operating in. If we can break lower, kind of clear this consolidation, a lot of noise here. Break lower. I think this is a smart place for a retest for a buy. And yeah, a push back to highs, keeping it short and sweet. I wouldn't look for any crazy move for Euro USD. We've been bullish for quite a while. Market, in my opinion, is quite stretched. And I think a bigger pullback's on the cards. So yeah, just a pullback, retest the price structure. We'll see how price gets there and how we react. If things look good, seeing some healthy rejection, smart place for a buy, in my opinion. I also like this area here as well. Should we have a slightly deeper pullback, maybe a retest of the trend line as well, retest of this area of demand as well, I think that's a smart place for a buy too. So keep tabs on that. But yeah, Euro USD is still bullish for now, so I wouldn't be looking to sell until I see some big red flags, and so far that isn't the case. So expecting more upside. To Shepo, notice NP this month's on a Thursday. Any thoughts on that? Because it's usually a Friday. Yeah, we got a bank holiday on Friday. Simbonella updated me as well because I was a little bit confused as well because I can't remember the last time NFP was on a Thursday. So that's a bit of a surprise to me as well. But apparently it's a bank holiday on Friday. So it's normally like the next Friday. Very rarely it's a Thursday. Normally it's the next Friday. They only postpone it by like a week, but I guess this week they couldn't wait, so it's on Thursday today, this week. Okay, where was I? So volume, I just went for US 30. You're short? Yeah, I'm not sure about shorts in US 30. It's a very, very bullish market. You're going up against a lot of momentum there. Again, I would expect price to retrace, so I get the idea of shorting it because we're quite overextended, so we're likely to retrace. But again, I would expect that retracement just to be a retracement and us to go higher. So if you're looking to short US 30, I'll keep it short and sweet. And if I see some red flags, momentum starts to pick up against me, I would get out, to be honest. I wouldn't try and bide my luck. It's not a position where I would short and just happily hold through noise and whatnot. If I'm seeing some red flags and momentum starting to pick up against me, I will get out, because we've just had this very aggressive up move. And yes, there's some bearish pressure coming to the market, but we could easily go higher. The thing about momentum is momentum can always keep going a little bit further before it does reverse. Yes, it's stretched, but finding where that tipping point will be is always very difficult to do. So I can understand it. We're likely to pull back, I agree, but it's just a very aggressive trade. Nothing wrong necessarily with aggressive trades, but my tip is manage it aggressively. If momentum's going against you, don't try and hold on to that. I would get out the way of that. Okay, where was I? Lighton. Fair play, Lighton. It's not a bad idea. Not a bad idea. Yen short time and long time look. Okay, I'll go for Yen. Kojo. Yeah, of course, we're not fortune tellers. We just trade based on probability according to one's edge in the market, of course. Again, if you try to look at trading like in terms of fortune telling, you're going to drive yourself crazy, and I know because I've been there. You want to keep things very, very simple and think in terms of probability. Easier said than done, but it's absolutely necessary. Trading is just making educated guesses consistently. Where's the market likely to move next? Where can I find an opportunity which allows me to understand the direction based on numerous reasons where price is likely to make that move. If you can find those opportunities consistently, then you put yourself in an edge. That's literally all an edge is. But fortune tellers, we're not that. We're not in the business of fortune telling, unfortunately. Malik, just a few questions. Sure. How long into your trading journey did you gain profitability? About 3 years. 3 years. How do you know you gain profitability? Just consistency, to be honest. I was looking a lot at my monthly performance, and again, not necessarily killing it in terms of numbers, but just seeing, okay, positive month, maybe slightly losing month, positive month, break-even month, positive, slightly losing, positive. And altogether, my equity curve was doing this, pointing to the upside. That really gave me the confidence that, okay, I'm starting to find some consistency now. Because yes, there's some dips, and of course there always will be dips. But if over like a prolonged period, you can have a equity curve pointing up, that's literally all that matters. And that's what profitability is. You start here, as you continue to trade, the equity curve is pointing up. That's all it is. And for me, about kind of 6 months, having an upwards pointing curve, I was like, okay, I found some consistency. Of course, it's not like, okay, you've got profitability now, so everything's just going to be up. Through that, I've had some downturns, I've had some big drawdowns, I've had some lessons I've learned past that as well. But as a whole, you want your equity curve to be pointing up. And that's literally the definition for me. Other people have weird definitions, like you have to be profitable each month. I don't think that makes any sense, really. Some of the most profitable traders ever to trade, could be in drawdown for most of the year, and they make the most of their profit in like 3 to 4 months of the year. So profitability is a little bit kind of ambiguous, but the best metric for me is just an upwards pointing equity curve. I think, that is the best metric to gauge it. What's your day in a life or as a full-time trader? Good question. Well, most of the morning spent on the charts in terms of identifying opportunities. Same with the evening as well, kind of reviewing how the trade has, how my trades or the market has panned out. Most of the day I'm kind of working on other projects because I'm very much a swing trader on purpose. So I do have a lot of free time outside of trading. So a lot of projects I'm working on at the moment. I have a project working with AI, developing AI tools to help traders improve their trading. We're actually looking to launch that project very, very soon. Zentrix, I posted the Telegram link in the stream. Of course, elevating traders takes a lot of my time as well. But yeah, in terms of the trading side of things, I try to spend most of the weekend back testing, reviewing past trades, reviewing previous years, reviewing my performance. So that's kind of in terms of the maintenance of trading. But in terms of Monday to Friday, analysis in the morning, analysis in the weekend, and throughout the day, kind of just looking at the charts probably every 2-3 hours really. Unless alert triggered. Okay. I'll go through Euro Yen, Dollar CAD quickly. Being traded doesn't make any different from a swing trade, especially on how I approach analyze the market. Not really the approach. We just trade the market really. Time horizon doesn't really make too much of a difference. Of course, in terms of your average hold time, you'll be holding trades a lot longer. You'll be waiting a little bit longer for trades to come. Longer to hit targets, longer to take your stop loss. So that kind of time difference might be a bit of an adjustment. But no, you're just looking for necessarily bigger moves in the market. You're more concerned with the major swing highs, major swing lows of a market, the turning points. But your basic strategy stays the same, really. As long as it kind of is not like session based, the strategy remains the same, really. Oh, Independence Day is on the 4th Friday. Makes sense. Okay, go through Euro Yen, Dollar CAD, and Swiss Yen to wrap it up. So yeah, Euro Yen, as I said, very bullish with this one. Looking for a retest of 167.5 and 165. Oh, did not mean to do that. So 167.5 and 165. We've had a very sharp breakout of this high here. So if this trend is going to continue, if price is having a successful breakout, then I would expect to move back to the next swing high at 175. So I'm just basically looking for the next higher low, ride that momentum back to highs. And those are two zones I'm looking at, depending how deep the pullback will be. If it's a bit shallow, I'll look at this area. If it's a bit deeper, I do have some areas which I'm looking at further down. But the direction is, I'm pretty bullish on Euro Yen. In terms of Swiss Yen, whilst we're on the yen pairs, this just created all-time high. So I'm actually quite neutral right now with Swiss Yen. I mean, after we do create an all-time high, I do think a big pullback is going to come because there's not a lot of people buying at these highs anymore, or less at least. A lot of people will be taking profit right now. But yeah, Swiss Yen's creating all-time high, so I do think a big pullback is going to be happening soon. But the market at the moment is still very bullish, and we could still rally and do another 200, 300 pips if price wants to. So I'm not going to try and jump in front of that when unknown territory. Price can go and smash some new highs if it wanted to. I'm interested in the opposite move because that's where I think the value will be, and that's where I think the momentum will be as well. I think the market's going to come relatively slow, relatively corrective, and then when I can start to see some bearish structure form, some lower lows and lower highs, I'll be happy to try and take some shorts. But that again could be a week, 2-3 weeks away from forming. So yeah, new all-time highs for Swiss Yen, very, very bullish. I think the bigger move, the more meaningful move will be the sells. So that's what I'm waiting for. But I'm waiting for bearish structure first. And at the moment, we do not have that. The market's still flying high and looking very bullish. And finally, Dollar CAD looking pretty bearish. This is a bit of an awkward one. I was looking for the retest of this area last week. We had a very weird up move at the end of the week, which made things a little bit awkward, especially intraday. As you can see there, I still like the idea for the retest of the high here than the short. All I'm looking for Dollar CAD is the continuation of this bearish structure here, and I'm looking for a push back into support. So if we can continue that, that'll be fantastic. If we can retest the high, that'll be great. It allows me to actually find a trade. It does look like support here is holding, so maybe price has found the rejection and it's ready to fall. We might not get that pullback. Dollar CAD isn't my favored pair, so I'm not too bothered. Other pairs do look better. But if I'm going to find an opportunity, it would be up here. It looks a little bit too messy for me to find entries within those levels there. But I am bearish and looking for a push back into support. So yeah, that kind of does summarize where we are at. I'm in a pound Aussie position, but it's just very, very sideways. If it does continue to move sideways, I'll probably pull the plug on the trade, to be honest. I entered last week Thursday, which has been up and down at my entry price, just hovering. I mean, the level I'm shorting from is still holding, so that's the key metric. But if it does stay sideways, I might pull the plug. If we can break support here, this line here, if we break support, then I think we're in business. But yeah, we'll see how that develops. If I do get into any other trades, I will let you guys know. Okay, good question actually. If I weren't streaming, how long would I spend at charts? Probably, I'd say I'll probably spend about half an hour, 45 minutes in the morning, probably about half an hour at night. And then throughout the day, I probably would spend no more than another hour really checking charts. Because again, it's the 4 hour chart. It's not like it's intraday where a lot of things can happen. There's only 6 candles in the day, 2 of them I'm sleeping for anyway. So, and a lot of my analysis is done on the weekend. I normally spend about at least 2-3 hours on the weekend analyzing the past week and the upcoming week. I do post my video to summarize that on the weekend. So most of my analysis is done on the weekend, which is works quite well for me because 4 hour chart I can analyze for the week, the upcoming week on the weekend, because not a lot changes during the week unless there's some crazy news. Not a lot changes during the week on the 4 hour chart, so I can analyze on the weekend for the upcoming week. My analysis that I do in the morning is just maintenance, just seeing, okay, what's happened, is price near my level, do I need to keep the bias, need to change the bias. That's what I do in the morning and the evenings. But throughout the day, just kind of monitoring trades, looking at candles close. And I'd probably say as a whole, it probably equates to no more than 2 hours a day. Yeah, give or take. But yeah, guys, I will be live again tomorrow. I'm live every weekday from Monday to Friday, from 10 a.m. to 12 p.m. UK time. So again, if you're free, pop in, come say hi, come chat with us. Again, we go through a bunch of markets, chat about trading in general. Any questions, drop it down in the chat. And if I know the answer, I'll let you know. If I don't, I'll try and point you in the direction of where you can find it. But yeah, really appreciate you tuning in to another stream. If you haven't checked out Zenthrix Telegram, I highly recommend go check it out. It has updates and more information regarding launch. Let me get the Telegram link for you people. Again, if you're interested about learning about AI and how AI can aid your trading, tools, strategies, indicators, go check it out. I definitely think AI is something to keep tabs on, especially in the trading world. Lots of changes will come, and definitely something you want to be on top of. So keep an eye on that. Check out the Telegram if you're interested. But guys, appreciate you tuning in. Drop a like, please, before you leave. If you did enjoy the stream, it does really help. The stream helps promote the content. So please drop a like before you do leave if you did enjoy it. Subscribe to the channel if you want to see more. And of course, hit the bell as well so you don't miss out on any streams or uploads in the future. But appreciate it, guys. We'll catch you all tomorrow.
Zenthrix AI. The advanced AI-powered trading platform for every trader. Everything you need for trading success. Research, strategy, automation, trade signals, all in one platform. Write strategies in plain language. We build the bots. Forex, crypto, stocks, futures. Every market. Let AI do the heavy lifting. Zenthrix AI. The future of trading is here. Are you ready?